Halo 3 ODST is a 2009 first-person shooter game developed by Bungie and published by Microsoft Game Studios. The fourth installment in the Halo franchise served as a side game. It was released on the Xbox 360 in September of 2009. Players assume the roles of United Nations Space Command Marines, known as Orbital Drop Shock Troopers, or ODSTs, during and after the events of Halo 2. In the game's campaign mode, players explore the ruined city of New Mombasa to discover what happened to their missing teammates in the midst of a Covenant invasion. And here we jump into the beginning of Halo 3 ODST with Buck arguing with the female commander, who you can clearly tell there is some underlying past romantic tension with. And Buck is played by our own geek to the, heavens, or own geeky nerd in Hollywood, Nathan Fillion, more famously known for his role on Firefly. Now, Halo ODST or Halo 3 ODST, I keep wanting to call it Halo 2 ODST because it takes place during that time frame of Halo 2. I was very excited for this game when it dropped in 2009. I wasn't a fan of the series with Halo 1. I wasn't a fan of first-person shooters to begin with when it comes to that time period with Halo 1. The only first-person shooter I really enjoyed was GoldenEye, and that was because of the co-op play. And I will say as well, I did enjoy, at the time, was the Unreal Championship series that was on the original Xbox. I liked the arcadey arena shooters, and there was another one that was on Dreamcast, which I forget the name of it as well. So it was very much like that Quake style Unreal Championship, Unreal Tournament, I think it was. What was Unreal Championship on Xbox? I forget. Anyway, none of that has to do with Halo. I just say that I wasn't a big fan of the Halo series until the hype for Halo 2. And Halo 2 there was something about the game that got me. So it got me so much where I pre-ordered it, and I pre-ordered the steel case, and I waited at GameStop for the midnight launch of that way back when. That was a long line because Halo 2 dropped, as well as Half-Life 2 dropped the exact same night. So there were a lot of us there, and it was fun times back then. It was something about midnight launches that just kind of got the community together around games and to celebrate games. And while it's very much an aspect of consumerism and fear of missing out, even way back when, it was really fun just you met people, you talked about how much you loved the game, you talked about what you'd seen so far, and that was just an exciting time that I feel like is just missing from how we play games and experience games now. But fast forward to ODST, and when I saw it come out, or that it was coming out, it was a new experience I was clamoring for. I had played through Halo 2, I had played through Halo 3, and at that point in time, I just absolutely fell in love with the lore, and especially with Halo 2 and the new Mombasa campaign. That was Halo 2, right? Anyway, no, Halo 3, I think it was. I forget, I'm old. But with that city, it was just so wonderful when I heard they were making a game, sort of a side game set in during that time frame. I was all for it. And when this dropped, I was completely surprised. And mind you, I didn't buy this game. I actually rented this from GameFly because partially it was just at a point in time where I wasn't standing in line for a lot of games anymore. And also I was using GameFly, and I ended up renting a lot of games at the time to play. And I was very excited when this came out, when it came to my door. And I was just blown away, not so much because of like the visuals. The visuals were cool for its day, and especially looking back at it now, it's definitely their dated graphics, those 360 graphics, but they still hold up pretty well in my opinion, and very fun. But this is the first time in the Halo universe, and correct me if I'm wrong because I don't remember when Halo Wars dropped, but this is the first time in the Halo universe where you're not playing as Master Chief. So there's a totally different style of play. You're a lot more human, to coin a phrase, so you can't just be willy-nilly run and gun like you were as if you were Master Chief. It's a lot more strategy involved in playing as the rookie ODST trooper when it comes to it, but also since a lot of this game is set at night in New Mombasa, it's quiet, it's eerie, and the sound design just works to really accentuate that aspect of it. You never know what's coming from around any corner, so there's a air of suspense that comes with playing this game that you don't necessarily get when you're playing Halo 2 or Halo 3, which preceded this. And one of the things I really love is just the emptiness of the city. You literally, like, the city is your sidekick, the administrator, or I forget what the city's central computer is, becomes like your eyes and ears toward everything as you are searching for the rest of your teammates who have their own stories within the city. And that whole suspense aspect just really changes the dynamic and gameplay of what we thought a Halo game could be back then. And that's one of the reasons why I really enjoyed this game. I remember when it came out, I played this game every day until I beat it. It was so captivating. It was so immersive because of the sound, and not just the sound as far as the music, but the sound design. There was so much effort put into ambient energy in this game that you hear the papers rustling and blowing in the wind from the city alarm, and that echoing out throughout the city, and how that really kind of plays off the deafening silence of the city itself, how there's no one around. It's just Covenant troops everywhere. The city is hollowed out. You hear the thunder and then see the lightning in the background from the storm, and having that echo across the empty city buildings. It is a masterclass in video game sound design, in my opinion. And so just even traversing here in this open city center, especially looking through it everywhere with your visor, aka night vision. One of the things I didn't really notice in the past was coming back to this game for the first time in many, many years, probably like a decade really, really noticing the symbols that are on the walls that pretty much tell you that you're going the right way when you have your visor, aka night vision on. It's just something I don't think I paid attention to back then. I love the nuances inside of the buildings with the graffiti and the messages that you find from previous occupants of this building, and how they maybe dealt with the invading forces of the Covenant. It was just so cool. It was so different for a game to be called Halo, where you're not Master Chief, you're not just running and gunning, guns blazing, and it was just a joy to play. And it's even a joy to play now. It's one of the things about the Halo series, at least the main lines, as well as ODST, they hold up so well today, not just from a gameplay perspective, but from a storytelling perspective as well. They tell really good stories, and say what you will about Halo 2, I enjoyed the Arbiter's line of the story. I enjoyed that twist and that handoff and the back and forth between Arbiter and Master Chief. I like that you gave a bit more depth to the Covenant that you didn't really see in the first Halo game, and seeing more of the United Nations Space Marines here in ODST, because you see the ODSTs in Halo, and pretty much they help out Master Chief along the way, as well as other Space Marines as well. But you don't know much about their stories. You don't see things from their perspective. You don't know what their fight was like as being just aka regular human beings. And having ODST really was an eye-opening experience in the world of Halo lore. In my opinion, it gave me a better understanding of what it's like. Like, I was quote-unquote afraid of dying in playing this game. I don't think that most people playing the Halo series, even on normal difficulty, really have a fear of dying, because you are Master Chief. You're damn near invincible as far as the gameplay is concerned, especially if you play it in a certain way. But coming into ODST, like that human, the way that the health system and stamina system were implemented, I thought did a very good job of making you as a player feel like you were not Superman, especially coming from playing as Master Chief in many of the other Halo games. So I liked that change, and I felt like they could have been very lazy with this, because this originally started off as more of DLC and kind of morphed its way into its own game. Now we're back inside and we're following, you see there's a lot of glowing path that really shows you your way, so it's not hard to get lost, or it's very hard to get lost in these buildings, in my opinion. And it does a very good job, because even with the visor, it's still very dark. So having a lot of those visual cues littered across the world in the landscape in these buildings is really good, because let's be frank, a lot of these buildings look alike. But let me tell you, having just doors open and there are Covenant soldiers there, you know, it's a bit of a jump scare. Like, you're like, what the? And you just turn around and start blasting with the shotgun, and you just kind of keep going and figure out what's going on and where you're going as you traverse through all of these to find your missing mates. Now here we found Buck's helmet, and now we fast forward to seeing the start of Buck's story and what happened to him, and you see this all across the rest of the game. And I like this. I think this really sowed the seeds for a lot of storytelling they did in Halo Reach, which is a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned, as far as a Halo game. Again, voiced by Nathan Fillion. It's just, storytelling has always been key to the Bungie Halo games. I think that the newer ones have not been as good as far as the storytelling aspect is concerned. So
first, you're the best soldier I know, and second, I don't remember that night. What you asked me.
And Buck's getting out, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. He's a bit disoriented, but he realizes that his former love is in need of assistance, and he's going to go to try to rescue her.
I appreciate the concern.
Won't be much of a rescue if you're dead.